Hey, what's up everyone, Matt the Riff Master here. So today we're checking out the ID 100 TVP by Blackstar Amplification. So this amp that we are checking out today is an absolutely amazing amp. Some of you may have seen me review it already, but I'm going through it again to hopefully make it a little bit better, get the sound across a little bit better as well. So the ID 100 TVP by Blackstar, TVP standing for True Valve Power, which is amazing. It's a solid state head with tube emulation or valve emulation, whichever one you like to call it. So this amp has got a lot going on. It's not over the top where you get option paralysis. I think once you figure out what you're doing, you just sail through it, and it's really cool. So let's check out the front panel and see what this amp has. So starting over on the left, you've got your different voicings. You've got 6 different voices to choose from, which is really cool, and they all sound amazing. You've got OD2, OD1, Super Crunch and Crunch, then Clean Bright and Clean Warm. So loads of options to choose from. Then you've got your gain, volume, and then your EQ, bass, middle, treble, and the famous ISF by Blackstar. Then over to the TVP section, which is the main kind of heart of this amp, I'd say, which means you can choose different tube voicings. It's a selection of tubes you can choose from to get the voicing that you want, and it is as loud as the valve equivalent, which is amazing, which you will see when we engage the True Valve Power button underneath. The amp completely comes alive. So the voicings that you can choose from, you've got KT88, 6L6, KT66, EL34, 6V6s and EL84. So a wide range of tube voicings to select. So you just go through them, choose which one you like the sound of, and you're ready to rock. So we'll go over to the effects now. It's got some built-in effects that sound really nice too. You've got modulated, delay and reverb. And then you can also choose the type of that effect you want. There's 4 different types for each one. And then you can also choose the amount of that effect that you want in the sound. So that's really cool. And then over to the master, your presence, resonance and master volume. So yeah, there's a lot going on, and just when you think that's it, there is more. It is a programmable head, which I think is really cool. You have so many options to do things, it's crazy. So underneath you've got your channels, 1, 2, 3 and 4. But basically you can store up to 12 presets, because where it says bank, it goes from amber, red and green. So effectively you've got 12 different presets that you can set, which I think is really cool, just by choosing which bank you want to be on, and then just tweak it, and you can save all your sounds to the head, which I think is amazing, because you can have everything there ready to go instead of having to dial in different tones for different songs or different sounds you want. You just dial it in once, you save it, and it's there for life, which is really cool. And also it's got a manual mode. If you want to skip the presets, just go to manual, choose your voicing, set up your EQ, choose your valve emulation that you want, and there you go, sorted, ready to rock. Now also it has a USB connectivity which goes to your laptop. You can download the Blackstar Insider software, which allows you to do deeper editing in your tones. There's a tuner on there, the effects. There's also some kind of audio machine thing where you can play songs on it, but you can slow them down when you're learning something, say, and it doesn't change the tuning or the pitch of the song, it just slows it down. So if you're learning a solo, you can just slow it down and just play along and speed it up, which I think is really cool as well. It's not just an amp, like the community that you get through the inside of software is super cool, so definitely check that out. So now what I'll do is I'll go through all the voicings on this amp just to see what they sound like. So let's take a look. So now I'll jump over to the TVP section, the valve section of the amp. You can only select which valve emulation you want when you have the button engaged. If it's not engaged, you can't choose, so make sure you've got that on before you choose it. So I'll just go through all the different valves just to see what they all sound like. So currently I have the amp without the true valve power section on, and that sounds like this. Then with it engaged, it just totally comes alive, so that sounds like this. So I'll just flick through all the valve options so we can hear the differences between all of them. So as you can hear, all the different valves, as soon as you engage that true valve power, it just brings the amp alive, and the voicings of these valves, I believe, are spot on. Blackstar have nailed it. It responds like a tube amp, it sounds like a tube amp. So when you thought that was it, there's a little bit more. There is a tuner on this amp head. To engage the tuner, all you need to do is just hold the manual button and then you're ready to tune. There'll be these lights along the channels. It'll flash red, and then when you're in tune, the two middle ones will go green, which is really cool. And also, like I said, you can save presets if you want to. If there's a sound that you like and you're on a preset, all you have to do is press and hold which channel you want that sound to be on. It will flash, press it again, and it saves. So that sound will be there forever then. It won't go anywhere until you change it and save over it. So if you've saved a sound that you really like and some of the knobs get moved, it doesn't matter. Just press that button, the channel that you had that sound on, and it'll just come straight back. So that's really handy. I've noticed that using this amp, sometimes the knobs get moved when it's moving about, but you never lose the sound that you had, which is a huge thumbs up. There is a foot switch for this amp. It is an optional extra. It doesn't come with the amp, unfortunately. I think it's an extra £49, but I think it's totally worth it. I bought the foot switch because everything you can do on the amp and through the insider software, you have access to at your feet. It's not just a simple channel switching, foot switch. You can access the effects, the tuner. So it's definitely worth buying that as an extra, because having it is really handy when you're playing through this amp. So if I just talk a little bit about the back panel of this amp, it has an emulated output, which means you could go straight into a PA if you're doing a gig, or straight into an interface for recording at home. And it's a really, really good emulated output. Blackstar are famous for their emulated outputs, and I totally 100% stand behind that. It sounds amazing. There's not an effects loop on it, which I know some people have sort of mentioned before, that it hasn't got an effects loop. You know, it's a bummer in a way, but I think everything that you get on this amp, I think you can overlook the effects loop just this one time. So this amp has got so much going on. It sounds great, it looks really cool, it's got some really funky lights flashing around, which is going to look great when you're doing a gig and it's dark and you know, got these lights going, which I think is really cool. It just looks awesome. And the whole amp in itself is just really smart, and it just sounds amazing. The options and the freedom you have with this amp to get exactly what you want, and the amount of presets you have, you can save so many tones that, like I said, you're going to have it all there. You're not going to have to change your amp constantly for different sounds. All you have to do is just press a button. So you could go from a metal tone to a bluesy tone at the push of a button, which I think is amazing. So you don't have to keep changing an amp to get these different sounds. You just dial it in, save it. You'll get the sounds that you want in this amp head, and you can just save them all, and you're just ready to rock, guys. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this review of the Blackstar ID 100 TVP. It is an amazing amp. I highly recommend you go check it out. It sounds amazing, it's super affordable, and it's Blackstar. So cheers, guys. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. That'd be awesome. Share it and come subscribe if you haven't already. Join the Riff Master family. We would love to have you. So as always, guys, I've been the Riff Master. You guys are just amazing, and I'll see you very soon. See ya!